what's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American, here today to react and learn about Canadian Heritage Minutes, which are these awesome little 1-minute videos that highlight an important moment throughout Canadian history. And today, I am continuing my journey watching them with 3 more episodes that I have never seen before, starting with the discovery of insulin, which, no matter how you cut it, that has to be one of the most substantial, important moments in Canadian history, just from a life-saving point of view. The amount of lives that have been changed by that discovery. And I swear, most Americans have absolutely no idea that this happened in Canada by a Canadian. No idea, even though it plays such an important role, I mean, not just in American lives, but worldwide to this day. This is a huge one, and it's really, I'm really fascinated to see how exactly it happened. Let's just read a little bit about the description here before starting the actual video. For many years, scientists believed that some kind of internal secretion of the pancreas was the key to preventing diabetes and controlling normal metabolism. Right, so insulin is, of course, known for being absolutely critical in the treatment of diabetes. And up until this was discovered, diabetes was essentially a death sentence, from what I understand, which is pretty crazy to imagine. Thinking about how it's so commonly dealt with, in a sense, today. No one could find it until the summer of 1921. A team at the University of Toronto began trying a new experimental approach. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it right there at that. University of Toronto trying an experimental new approach. The discovery of insulin. Let's take a look.
Leonard Thompson. 13 years old.
13.
Diabetes mellitus, 65 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Starve the child to let them live. The treatment's as cruel as the disease. It's a death sentence.
Wow. So this is real. This isn't even dramatized, like, for the purposes of shock value, that it's like a 13-year-old child, literally, dying of diabetes. This is actually a real person, and this really happened. And he needs treatment. He's dying of diabetes, and does he happen to like be a recipient of insulin, or is this like just a sad story?
Dr. Banting.
This could be it.
Oh.
He's the first to receive this trial.
But will it save him?
Oh, wow. This boy is the first ever to receive insulin. So this was literally like discovering it and saying, hey, you know, I'm sure the practices in 1930, the medical practices were a little different, and, you know, but they were like, hey, we're going to use this boy and see what this does, because he's got nothing to lose at this point. That's pretty amazing. And I'm really optimistic this has like kind of a happy ending, that this actually works on this boy.
It's not pure enough.
Not pure.
So we try again.
Not pure.
And again. And again.
Wow. This is, now this really is dramatized, this right here. Like, I'm sure it was much more boring than this, and much more tedious and difficult than holding up a beaker and being like, this is it. There's probably like a lot of really, really smart people like thinking and developing this technology and running tests for all hours of the day and night, trying to save people's lives. And it's pretty darn incredible. I'm actually real glad they made a Heritage Minute about this, because this really is special.
Before the discovery of insulin, diabetes was a death sentence.
Right.
Banting, Best, Collip, and MacLeod's breakthrough has saved millions of lives.
Millions.
Leonard Thompson's was the first.
Leonard Thompson, that boy was the first person saved by the discovery of insulin. Pretty unbelievable. Be pretty unbelievable to be that boy, honestly. Like, probably all hope Like, for you and your family, kind of like down in the dumps, all hope gone, this famous disease that's incurable, unsurvivable, and you're the literal first person to be saved. I mean, that's great, but every other single life since then that has been saved by the discovery of insulin in Canada, at the University of Toronto, I see. That's awesome. That is super cool. And that was a really, like, kind of touching heritage moment, to be quite honest with you. Okay, the next heritage minute we have, I just realized sometimes I call these heritage moments. Maybe that's the Tyler way of, but I mean, they kind of are moments. Heritage minutes, excuse me, heritage minutes, heritage minute. The next one I want to look at is Normandy landing, Canada on D-Day. There's a whole heritage minute just around Canadians on D-Day, which I think is really great and honestly extra important and good for someone like myself as an American, because I gotta be honest. When we talk about Normandy and learn about D-Day in our history classes, we don't talk about Canada. We don't talk about Canadians who put their lives on the line, lost their lives for, their brothers in arms, for fellow Americans as well. We don't talk about that. Not because it's not important, but, in our American history courses, we focus on the American side of it, the American perspective, maybe to a fault, but I'm glad here now today to learn a bit about the Canadian perspective on D-Day, which I have never heard about, ever. What else? Do we have any backstory here? 1944, Canadian forces took part in the greatest amphibious operation in military history. Over 10,000 Canadian sailors and 110 warships, 15 squadrons, 14,000 soldiers took part in D-Day. Wow. One of the 5 assault beaches was assigned to Canada's Army's 3rd Infantry Division, 2nd Armored Brigade. Let me say that correctly. Invasion was years in the planning. The Canadian disaster at Dieppe? Not sure how you pronounce that. Proved what an extreme challenge lay ahead. There's a lot about stuff about Canadian warfare and Canadian military history I actually don't know about. Just another reason I wanted to see this one in particular. This is kind of a more recently made Heritage Minute, made in 2019. So looks like it has a bit more of a modern cinematography to it. But anyway, this is June 6, 1944, Canadian forces landing on Juno Beach, D-Day. Let's take a look. I imagine this is quite dramatic. Oh
They
my
were
God.
just kids from New Brunswick. Never even left the North Shore before. Dad trained them the best he could. But
Holy cow. This is like Saving Private Ryan. It's actually shot quite extreme, quite well. You can really feel the intensity. This Heritage Minute is by far the most extreme, like in the sense of like they're in the middle of a war with bullets being shot at them. But I like it. I think that's good, important. Make it kind of realistic. The impact of this kind of can't be overstated.
how could they possibly be prepared?
Wow.
This was the biggest operation the world had ever seen. He'd already served in the First World War, earned the right to stay home, raise his children. But how
It's so crazy. Like, the more I watch this, it's so crazy. It just sticks out to me how much this exact scene right here of the soldiers, dirty, tired, like at war, is presented in America with Americans. Like, it's a famous kind of image and story. And I'm finally, like, this is the Canadian point of view. Like, I almost look at this and my brain is like, oh, American soldiers at war, how heroic, how brave. It's so good, I think, to acknowledge Canadians that were putting their lives on the line for this cause as well. Really, really important stuff.
could he send those boys into battle and not be by their side?
Wow. Oh.
Many were killed that day.
Oh my God. they might as well make a movie out of this, whoever made this. This Heritage Minute is really, really well done and like really freaking dramatic. It is like a movie.
Many were killed that day. One was my father.
Major Archie McNaughton was 47 when he died on D-Day, the invasion that marked the beginning of the end of the Second World War.
Whoa. Not what I expected to happen there. That got me. That actually got me. The transition with the soldier losing his life to the gravestone with the maple leafs on them as well. Also imagery of like fallen soldiers that I don't get to see. J.A. McNaughton and many, many others.
47 when he died on D-Day, the invasion that marked the beginning of the end of the Second World War.
Yeah. This one was kind of special to me as well, from an American perspective, because as much as this must mean to Canadians, watching your like literal Canadian citizens and brothers in arms fighting for, your country and your freedom, this is something I never have gotten to see before. As an American, the Canadian military part of this, the Canadian military perspective. Never seen that before. It's pretty awesome. And honestly, kind of refreshing. Because not something we really learn about in our American education, for sure. Wow. Okay. And on a lighter note, for the third one, completely opposite to discovering insulin, saving little children's lives, dying in war for the protection of your home country and for what's right. Kind of on a lighter note than all that is basketball. The third Heritage Minute I wanted to watch is basketball, which was invented in Canada or by a Canadian. Basketball is a game played between two teams. Yep. You throw a ball into a netted hoop. I don't know if there's anyone out there who needs this explanation, but basketball is when you throw a ball into a hoop. Invented by Canadian James Naismith. Teaching at a YMCA? In Massachusetts! Basketball is now one of the most popular sports in the world. This is hilarious to me. Because Americans would freak out if they knew. And I swear, most Americans have no idea. Most Americans would swear up and down basketball was invented by an American because basketball is so popular in the United States. So huge, so popular, so many people play it and love it and give their life devotion to it. And it was invented in America by a Canadian. That's fantastic. What a twist. So this is sort of a dramatic recreation of what the invention of basketball in a YMCA somewhere in Massachusetts, Springfield, in 1891. That's fantastic. This is an older Heritage Minute, which I enjoy. The new ones and the old ones are quite distinct. The new ones are real dramatic and cinematography is off the charts, but these older ones are like kind of more nostalgic and vintage and almost shot a little more realistic in a way, like you're right there or something. Anyway, basketball. Let's take a look. There they are. Oh, they don't know. They don't know what they're doing. They're They don't know what they're doing. And everyone's got big mustaches and overalls. It's great. And they're playing in ties and suits. And they're like tackling each other. Are they like trying to figure out what to do with this game? Or foul?
Don't carry it, dribble it! Dribble it!
Dribble it. Oh my god, was this one meant to be funny? He's like, dribble it, and he's like bobbling it.
Don't carry it, dribble it! Dribble it! Dribble it!
Come on, yeah!
Is this some kind of Canadian joke, sir? I mean, I know you're the instructor and everything, but when we can't carry the ball, how can we get a decent shot at the beach basket?
What? So this was like a Canadian working at a YMCA? Randomly in America? And did he just decide this would be a fun thing to do? Like the Americans are saying, they're like, is this some weird Canadian game or something, man? What is this? Did he learn this in Canada and bring it to America? Or did he just come up with it at the YMCA because he was bored?
All right. Maybe we can allow a carry of a couple of steps.
And Mr. Naismith, sir, it sure slows things down having to climb up here every time.
Well, then let's cut the bottom out of the basket.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, this guy's a genius. He's just doing this on the fly as well. I don't know if this is exactly how it happened, but he's like, all right, you can dribble it and carry it a little, and yeah, we'll cut the hole in the basket so we don't have to get a ladder out. And I love to think this is how it happened.
It's back.
Wow.
100 years after James Naismith from Almont, Ontario invented it, basketball was being played by hundreds of millions of people around.
How did it spread around the world after this? I mean, I don't think I'm going to go into the deep history of it right now. This was meant to just be a moment, a snapshot in time of the invention and birth of basketball. And it's just this Canadian man, like, getting all these Americans to figure out this fun game he had in mind. That's so, like, that's kind of wholesome and fun. There was no, like, deep... It wasn't some, like, corporatized, like, how can I make money off this? It was just, all right, guys, let's try to make a game here.
Who invented it, basketball was being played by hundreds of millions of people around the world.
Those Americans were good sports. I credit to those American YMCA people as well for humoring him and being like, all right, we'll try this. We'll check it out. And there you have it. Those were good. And a wide range of emotions were felt today, as well as we went from the invention of a life-saving drug to the fighting for, like, world peace, and, like, me personally witnessing Canadian military action for the first time, and all the way to basketball, which was kind of lighthearted. That's what these Canadian Heritage Minutes kind of do to you. They take you on a wild journey through time, and I kind of love it. I kind of really love these Heritage Minutes. I get a lot of enjoyment out of them, and they cover such a vast array of topics and subjects. It's really great, and I learn a lot, so I enjoyed these quite a bit. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with your thoughts on these Heritage Minutes and what they mean to you. And any suggestions for other Heritage Minutes you think I should watch, that'd be great as well. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.